Hey guys, so it's Thursday, August the 8th now, the day after my Backstreet Boy experience, and wow, I don't know, I guess I'll just share my whole day with you from beginning to end. It's a whirlwind of emotions. It was the weirdest thing. I don't know, it was completely different than when I met Nick. And I don't know, I think there's a couple of factors that factored in with that. There was good points and bad points. So let me just get to it. So when I left the house, thankfully the rain did stop. And the rain completely held off until we left. As we were leaving, a couple of drops came down, but then it stopped. It didn't amount to much at all. They were calling for severe thunderstorms, and we didn't get any of that. So that was fantastic right off the bat. So anyways, when I left, it had finished raining. It was cleared up. It was sunny. It was great. And so when I left the house, I was super excited, really nervous, just crazy. And I was like, whew, yeah, like I was really nervous and excited and everything. So I managed to get down there earlier than expected. I was trying to make it down for 3 because they said to check in by 3:15. But I ended up catching an earlier bus, so I managed to get down there. I think it was probably maybe 2:45 or maybe like 2:50 or something like that. But anyways, so when I got there, I arrived at the box office to check in, but they weren't checking in people at the actual box office. See, like it said in the email, check in by 3:15, so I just assumed as soon as I got there I would check in, get my pass and all that stuff. It wasn't like that at all. All of the fans were just waiting around, and also some of the fans were there for Jesse McCartney's VIP because Jesse McCartney was opening for them. So some were there for both VIPs, some were for one or the other. So it was just like a mass of fans, and I was really surprised at the amount of fans that were there. I did not realize that they sold that many VIP packages. So it was really kind of surprising. So anyways, I thought, okay, well, I guess 3:15 is when they'll start checking us in. No. So this is where my patience was okay for the first bit, and then it started to wear thin. So we were waiting outside. I think they didn't start checking in anyone until 3:30, maybe 3:45. So all that time we were standing in the blaring sun, boiling hot. I was already dripping sweat because there were so many people too, which made it more hot. And I was thinking, this is just great because I just assumed when we got there we would go in right away, and I knew that the inside of the venue was covered. So I didn't put any sunscreen on because I figured I would be pretty much in the shade the whole time and that I would be fine. No. So, being, conscious of the sun because of lupus, I started to get a little bit anxious because I was like, this is not good. And I could feel that my skin was probably burning. So I tried to stand under a shaded part, and that worked for a while, but then they told us to move because we were blocking like the actual box office for people to pick up concert tickets. So we had to move. So then I was in the sun. So I was like, oh, this is just great. So anyways, they finally took us in, and this was kind of like a cool part for me, was when I checked in, all you had to do was show your photo ID, and so they would look at your name on it and find your name on the list. I was the very first name on the list for the Gold VIP, and I guess because it went by last name alphabetical and my last name starts with A, so I was like right at the top of the list, which was pretty cool. I thought that was like pretty amazing. I was like, oh wow, I don't know, I just felt special. So they gave us our pass, and it's on one side it's like a hologram type thing, and then on the other side it's just like a plain thing, and it has like a number and stuff. Yeah. So and then there was another guy, as we like started to walk in, there was another guy that gave us the cord, so we just had to attach our pass to it. So then we went in, and they directed us, we were standing on a bridge that you go over to get to the theater, and so they divided us into lines according to which package we had. So I had got gold, which is the second highest. So there was platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. So there was 4 different lines that they put everyone in, so that it was all like organized and whatnot. So I'm thinking, okay, you know, as soon as they finish checking in everyone, they'll probably take us into the venue for the sound check, because my understanding from what I read online was that sound check was first, followed by the Q&A, and then the meet and greet where you get your photo taken. Well, we ended up waiting in that line until 5 o'clock, or a little after 5 o'clock. And it was hot, and again, I was in the blaring sun. But thankfully, I started to see other people put up their umbrellas for shade, and then it reminded me that I had brought an umbrella. So I put the umbrella up for shade, but it was a long time to stand there, and I was sweating, and I was hot, and I felt gross, and my feet were starting to kill me. Like, they were just in excruciating pain. And what else was happening? Yeah, so, and then also holding up the umbrella, my joints were starting to hurt in my arm. So that part was not a fun experience. And I started to get really impatient, and this lady that was beside me, who was 40, she started talking to me. She was like, I cannot believe this. And at this point, I think it was 4:30, and she heard that we wouldn't go in until 5. And so we were just talking about, like, we were thinking that it was like run very unorganized. And we were just saying, like, this was both of our first time to do VIP. And we were just talking, and she was just saying that she thinks she's too old for this because, like, when she told her coworkers where she was going, they laughed at her. And then, like, also she was just saying, like, you know, I'm getting tired of, like, standing, so she's like, I'm too old for this, but whatever. Anyways, a couple of times I had considered calling over a security guard and just telling him of my health situation, and that, you know, I can't be in the sun for long, or, you know, and I can't stand for long, just to see if maybe they could have taken me someplace where I could have sat. But I kept thinking that any minute we would go in, and, you know, it would be pointless. Like, by the time they took me to the place or whatever, we'd be in. But that didn't happen. So I think it was like a little after 5 o'clock. They did finally take us into the theater, but we didn't go into, like, the actual theater. We were just outside of where you enter, where the seats are. So we were out by, like, the food and stuff. So at that point, we were allowed to buy souvenirs at the souvenir stand, which was nice because it bypassed like the big crowds that usually swarm around that. So I got a t-shirt. I wasn't too impressed with their t-shirts for this tour. There was one that I thought was a really cute shirt, but it didn't have the tour dates at the back, and I always like to have the tour dates. So there was only 2 to choose from for me for that, and one, the picture of them was like so small you couldn't really make them out. It was the album cover. So I thought this one, you can at least see their faces. So I got that, and I just noticed too that there was like oh, the lines are supposed to be there. Never mind. Yeah, so I got this, and it has the tour dates at the back. So I did that. I got to go to the washroom because I really had to go to the washroom. So I got to go to the washroom. If we wanted to, we could buy food, but I didn't want to because I didn't want to get food in my teeth before meeting them. So I didn't buy any food. And then we had to wait another hour in line outside of the thing. And I was, at one point I did manage to sit down for a little bit. I did notice a bench. But I only sat there for like maybe 2-3 minutes, and then the line started to move. So I rejoined it, and then it stopped moving. But, so yeah, I was very frustrated with the process of waiting for the VIP package to start. And so that kind of put a little bit of a damper on my experience. So that I was kind of disappointed with because I just felt sweaty, gross, in pain, tired, hungry. I mean, all these things. One thing that kind of made it a little bit better was Brian's wife and son came along the line to meet fans. I missed her coming to our area because I was in the washroom, and just as I came out, I noticed her there. And she was talking to a fan like near me. So I didn't get to talk to her, and I didn't get to get my picture taken with her because I just didn't move quick enough. But I did get to see her and their son Bailey, who looks just like Brian. He is so cute. So cute. And he was posing for pictures with people and everything. It was great. So that was kind of exciting. I took some pictures of that and some video. And then, yeah, I was just really in pain. My feet were killing me. And we were thinking, like, the show's supposed to start at 7. Like, the opening acts are supposed to start at 7. We hadn't gone in for sound check or anything yet. And it was almost 6 o'clock. And we're like, what is going to go on here? So a lot of us were getting frustrated. And then all of a sudden the line did start to move slowly. And just as I got a little bit before the stairs that lead down to the ground level, then they announced that we were going to get our picture taken with the Backstreet Boys first, and then sound check. So it was a weird feeling for me because I had to go from being totally frustrated and in pain to, oh my gosh, I'm about to meet them. And so my excitement level was kind of like wonky because it was like, oh, I'm in pain and I feel like kind of pissed off that we had to stand for 3 hours. But then at the same time, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to meet them. So it was just like an array of things going on. So got to the bottom of the stairs and could see them around the corner meeting people, and then it was kind of like, okay, this is gonna happen. So then I was thinking of, and then I noticed that the security guards were taking your bags to hold while you got your picture taken. In my bag, I had a demo CD that I had recorded years ago that I've always wanted to give them. And I also had my bucket list, which I was hoping to get one of them to check off meeting them off my bucket list. And so then I was kind of like going back and forth in my head. Should I pull it out before giving them my bag so that I can take it to them? Or what should I do? Because I kind of realized that at this point they were behind schedule and it was going to be a very, very quick, rushed meeting. And I was thinking I wanted to like optimize it, I guess, to the best of my ability. And so I was kind of like weighing, like, is it going to be worth it to like waste time with these things instead of just like meeting them, you know, seeing them, shaking their hand, getting the picture taken and stuff. So I was like, you know what, like the CD, it's not a big deal if they don't get it because I don't really sing that much anymore anyway because I have all these voice issues and, you know, like nothing is probably going to come out of it anyway. Who knows if they'll even listen to it. So I kind of just like left that in the bag. And then I was like, you know, the bucket list thing, I kind of realized that it was going to be hard to talk to them as a whole because they were in a line and it was so quick. So again, I just left it, but I kind of regret it now because I really think I probably could have got it done, but it's not a big deal. But so Brian was first. So yeah, the security guard took my bag and he's like, go ahead. And, or actually, sorry, just before I handed my bags off to another security guard, there was one security guard at the bottom of the stairs. He's like, hey, how are you doing? I'm like, okay, like nervous, excited. He's like, don't be nervous, don't be nervous. And I'm like, I've been waiting 16 years for this. So he's like, wow, 16 years. I'm like, yeah. So then he's like, go ahead to the security guard and give him your bags. So I gave him bags and then I went up and the first person I saw was Brian. And it was weird, like I was happy to meet Brian, but I've already met him, so it was kind of like it didn't seem to be as exciting because I know I already met him before, but it was still fun. I shook his hand and I made sure to like look at each one of them like in the eye just so that I had that like contact with them. So he was like, hey, and you know, had like a big smile on his face. And the weird part is that I don't really remember much about what I did when I met them because it was so fast. It was like a dream. And I think I was really starstruck. I don't know. I think I was first off in pain. And I also was kind of sad that I didn't have a friend with me to experience it together. Because, you know, like when I was with Melissa for meeting Nick, after, like before we got up to meet him, we were like, oh my gosh together. And then after we met him, you know, we freaked out together. So I had no one to freak out with. So I had to like contain myself. So it was kind of like a weird feeling. But it was still fun. Like it was just, I don't know, it was, like I said, there was emotions all over the place because I was frustrated and tired and in pain. But then I was happy and excited for meeting them. And so I met Brian, shook his hand. Then it was Nick, and of course Nick is my favorite, so I really made sure to, and it was funny, I don't know if he recognized me from when I met him like 2 years ago. I don't know if that's possible, but the reaction he gave me almost made me feel like he did recognize me because like before I even got to him, like as I was approaching, I think it was actually even before I got up there, it was like as I was going to hand off my bags, I like smiled at Nick and he was like, hey, and just like the way he reacted, it was like, I don't know, it almost felt like he remembered me. I don't know, it could just be me, but it seemed like he did. So anyways, then when I got up to him, like shook his hand and he looked in my eyes again, and then it was AJ. And I don't fully remember much about meeting AJ. Again, I don't remember much about what I did. I hope I smiled at all of them. I think I did. I don't really know. I hope I smiled. I hope I didn't look like a deer in headlights. But I think I did. I think I smiled at them. And I just said, you know, hi, nice to meet you kind of thing. And with AJ, all I remember is thinking, wow, he's really hairy. Because he has like a full-on like beard, like caveman type beard going on. So all I remember is because like he was so close to my face, like when I shook hands, I was like, wow, he's really hairy. So that was kind of funny. Then it was Kevin, and I didn't feel a whole lot about meeting Kevin. I just felt kind of like a satisfaction of the band is complete again. He's here. And it was just cool to actually see him back with the group. And he is tall, but Nick is taller, I think. And then I met Howie, and I have to say I was really taken aback by how good looking he was. I've never really found Howie to be all that good looking, but in person he is really, really cute. And so I was really kind of like taken aback, like, wow, like he's a really handsome guy. And so I shook hands with him, and I really wish I could have had time to talk to him a little bit about the lupus thing, because his sister passed away of lupus. But they were saying, you know, like, okay, like pose for the picture. So like because I really was thinking of giving him a hug, just because like there's that lupus connection thing. But anyways, I didn't. I just went and posed for my picture. You were allowed to stand wherever you wanted, I think, in the group. So I stood in between AJ and Nick, so I was kind of like centered a little bit more. I thought of going in between Brian and Nick because they're my favorites, but then I would have been like off to the side. So I was in between. AJ was on this side, Nick was on this side, and I put my arms around them, they put their arms around me, and we took the picture. And then they were like, oh, okay, you know, like, thank you for coming. And then I said, oh, thank you. And then I just turned instinctively. I just turned, you know, like I kind of like looked at them all quickly. And then I just turned and gave Nick a hug. Like, it was just an instinct. I just gave him a hug. So that's my third hug from Nick. So that was, whew, yeah, he's a hot man. And then I started to walk. They said, okay, like, proceed over, like, by the stage, because that was where the sound check was going to be. And they handed me an autographed photo, security. They're like, thanks for coming, enjoy the show. And I was really pleasantly surprised, because nowhere on the website did it say gold package gave you an autographed picture. It was only supposed to be platinum. So that was a really nice surprise, and you can tell that they actually like physically signed it. It's like a silver pen. Here it is. Yeah, their autographs are all on there. So that was like a really nice souvenir, a really nice surprise. The pictures will be available on the fan club forum in a couple of days. I think 2 or 3 days. So I'm really like anxiously waiting for that. Yeah, so then I just went off to the side and was kind of like, did this really just happen? Because it was just so fast. It was so fast. I just wish it was a little bit longer, and maybe had they not been behind schedule, maybe it would have been a little bit faster. I mean, a little bit longer. But yeah, it was a weird feeling. And like I said, it was kind of like a little anticlimactic for me, in the sense that I didn't have a friend to like freak out with after. So I kind of had to like keep it in. I was like kind of freaking out inside. And so then I just kind of like stood off to the side and just watched them meeting other fans. Took a couple of like pictures, videos, and just was smiling. Like, wow, I can't believe I just met them. I thought I would cry after, but again, I had so many different emotions, both positive and negative, that it was like a weird feeling. And I didn't cry, but talking about it now, like talking about it now, I'm getting teary-eyed, just because like I never thought I would ever meet all 5 of them. So it's great to be able to check that off my bucket list, which I did. Yeah, so then they did the sound check after they finished the meet and greets. The sound check was lots of fun. Nick and AJ came up first, and they started with the Q&As. I was too far back to get in a question. And they only did like 4 questions because they were behind schedule. The questions people asked were great. I was a little bit jealous of one girl in the front row who asked if she could sing just to be close with them a cappella. So they let her keep the microphone. She was in the front row and she had an amazing voice. And she sang with them, and I so wish I could have done that. But yeah, I think I was just really like, I felt like I was in a daze. It was just so overwhelming, everything. It was exciting, it was surreal, it was, I don't know, I was just in a daze. It was like, wow, like, this is unbelievable. Is this really happening? So it was really nice because I was gold. So platinum was in like, I think the first 2 rows, and then it was gold. So I was, when they first came up on stage, I was kind of close to front row, and then they noticed I was gold and told me like we had to move back. So then I was in, I think, 4th row. So that was great because I was close and I could see them all. After they did the question and answers, they did their sound check, which they did 3 full songs and 1 like half song. It was basically their whole acoustic set that they do in the middle of their concert. And they said that they basically had to do sound check for the acoustic, otherwise they'd suck. So that was funny. Brian did one of his like funny cartoon voices that he always does. That was funny. And then what else? Oh, and then at one point when they finished a song, Nick started to like cough a bit or something, and they're like, "Hey Nick, you okay?" And he's like, "I just threw up in my mouth a little bit," which is like really funny to hear like a performer say that. And they were like, "Oh, this is great," and he's like, "I think I made myself a little sick." So so that was funny. Yeah, so after they finished the 4 songs, that was it. They went off. And then I made my way up to where our seats were. And right away, fans, they started to let the general public in. So I just waited at the top of our section for Jen and Denise, and they came shortly after. And so from that point on, I think it got really fun just because I was with my friends and could share like the excitement with them. So they came in, we found our seats, and then I went to get food because I was hungry. And food was ridiculously expensive. Fries were like $6 and a drink was like $5. So that's all I had for dinner. But I had to get some food in me so I could take my meds, so that was fine. So yeah, we did that. And oh, right before we did food, right before I went to get food though, Brian brought his son out, Bailey, on stage. And Bailey sang 2 songs, and he is so cute. You'll see in the videos. I have to edit everything together, but I took some awesome videos, and you'll see little Bailey. I think he's like 10 now, and he's so cute. He sang Mariah Carey's Daydream and Michael Jackson 5, I Want You Back, and he was so good. He was so cute, and he was like going on the catwalk out into the audience and shaking hands with everyone. And then at the end, like, Brian came out to like bring him back off stage and stuff, so that was cute. And oh, and at one part Bailey's like, "What do you guys think of me?" He's so cute. So yeah, then I got food, came back, ate the food, and just talked with my friends. And at this point, Jesse McCartney was on, and don't know any of his songs. Although, as it turns out, when he came out for his last song, I did recognize that song, but I never knew that he was the one that sang it. So the only way I know Jesse McCartney really is because I used to watch All My Children, and he used to be on it, and now he's on Army Wife. So we were kind of like, okay, like, let's get this over with. Like, and they had Pauly D DJ before that, which was boring. So yeah, there was Pauly D, and then there was Jesse McCartney, and then I guess the boys came on around 9:15, 9 o'clock. Amazing, amazing concert. To see them all back together again. and you could tell that Kevin was absolutely elated to be back. Nick was insane. I have never ever seen Nick like this in any concert. He was dancing crazy. He was doing all these crazy things everywhere. It was unreal. He was just insane. And I would have to say, while meeting them should have been the highlight of my night, what the highlight for me was is that Nick, and I'm sorry, I just have to put it out there, 3 times during the show, Nick full on grabbed his crotch. And it was fun. No, honestly, I've never seen him ever do this before. It was crazy good. It was in Don't Want You Back when he says, I should have known that I would be another victim of your sexuality. As soon as he said sexuality, he's like full on groping himself. I was taking video during that song, and you'll see the video just goes like this at the part that he does it, so you don't even get to see him do it, because Melissa and I freaked out. I was like grabbing her and I was screaming like a 15-year-old again. It was great. And then he did it in when they came up for Everybody Backstreet's Back. I know that there's like a part in there, Am I Sexual? I said to Melissa, I'm like, when it gets to that part that he sings, he's probably gonna do it again. Sure enough, he did it both times in the song. And I'm not talking like Michael Jackson type grabbing of the crotch. I'm talking like full on, you know. It was great. And then at one point they were doing the acoustic set, and some of them were playing guitars, some were playing like tambourines, drums, whatever. And Howie had a guitar, and Howie's like very short, very small. And AJ made a comment about how the guitar looks so big on him. And then Howie's like, I love to grab onto big things. And then him and AJ do like a fist pump. And then that's when I said to Melissa, I'm like, you know that their fans are adults when they do stuff like this. Because back in the day when we were teenagers, they wouldn't have done like any dirty jokes or things like that in the show. So you know that their fans are older now, so they do stuff like that. Like, yeah, it was hilarious. And then they had this really cool video at one point where they said, we're going to change outfits now, and we have 2 minutes to do that. So during this 2 minutes, watch this video or whatever. And so they had this video, and it was so cute. I really wish I had have filmed it. It was the cutest video because Nick was acting retarded again, and at one point, like, he kept cartwheeling across the screen, and they were just basically like asking them like, who's the jokester, who's like the serious one, you know, who's high maintenance. And so they were kind of like, you know, saying who they thought was. And the first 2 times it was so funny, like Nick did like this funny face where he was like, could it be me? It was so cute. And then what else did they do? Oh, they were just like, when they asked like who's high maintenance, everyone said Howie. And Howie's like, no, it's not me, it's, you know, so-and-so. And then one of them's like, oh, he always carries around a mirror. And then they flashed to Howie like holding a mirror, fixing his hair, and he was like licking it and stuff. It was so funny. And then they also, at another point for a costume change, they actually showed us the preview of their upcoming documentary that they've been making. And I think it's going to be like in theaters. And they were actually filming parts of our concert last night to put in the documentary, so that was cool. During the acoustic set, the Platinum VIP people, that's when they got to go on stage. So they were there for 3 whole songs, but they were sitting behind them. So in a way, I'm not too disappointed that I missed out on the Platinum package. Because while it would have been a cool experience to be on stage in front of that many people, you would have just seen their back for 3 songs. You wouldn't have seen them like performing. So I'm not too upset about missing out on that. So, but it was still neat to watch. And yeah, they did all their old hits. They did lots of the new songs. Amazing show. Amazing show. We had so much fun. We were like teenagers again. And oddly enough, as soon as the show started and we were having so much fun, I didn't even think about the pain anymore. And then, yeah, and then it was fun getting out because it was just a sea of people. So we finally got out and someone was giving out free samples of Perrier water. So that was awesome because we were so thirsty and I had meds to take. So we just sat down on a bench just to rest our feet for a bit before walking all the way to the streetcar. And so we just sat and drank and just talked, and then we started heading to the streetcar and we saw the ice cream truck, so we got ice cream. And yeah, we just headed back home, and I got home at, oh my gosh, it must have been like 1:30 in the morning. And after Backstreet concerts, I can never go straight to bed because I'm on such a high. So I stayed up till 5 in the morning. And yeah, it was a great night. It was super fun. I still can't believe I met them. I think it'll fully sink in when I finally get the picture of me with them. I just hope that I was smiling. I don't even remember what I did in the picture. It was like, woo! But yeah, everything was great. My only complaint was the 3-hour wait, especially for someone with health problems. And, you know, I guess this is where the invisible illness thing comes into play, because several times I considered telling security and asking security about, you know, if there was somewhere they could take me to sit because of my health issues. But part of it was that I thought, well, we'd go in any minute. And the other part was that I didn't really want to draw attention to myself because I look healthy. And I could guarantee that everyone around me probably thought I was healthy. And that's where the invisible illness thing comes in, because you don't look sick. And so I kind of could picture in my head that if I called security over and told them, and, you know, they took me somewhere, that I would get a lot of dirty looks from people for getting special treatment when, oh, she looks fine. So that's why I didn't bother doing that. But I kind of wish now that I had, because I think I would have enjoyed meeting them that much more had I been comfortable. If I had have been sitting in the shade, I could have waited however long we needed to wait, and I would have been fine, and then I would have been even more excited meeting them. But it was just the fact that I felt crappy physically by the time I met them, that it kind of like made meeting them a little bit more subdued than I would have liked it to be. But it was still an amazing thing, and I'm so grateful that I got to meet them and so blessed. And, you know, Melissa and Denise like were saying, would I go and pay to do a VIP again? And at the time I said no, just because of the 3-hour wait. But if I knew now, like now that I know in advance kind of what maybe to expect, I would know how to handle it differently. So I am considering, because I think they said they were going to come back again next year. And so I am considering trying it again, just so that maybe I could get a little bit more out of it, knowing what to expect and how to handle it. And then that way, hopefully I would physically feel better so that I could enjoy it a little bit more. And And what I might do is just go with the cheapest package, which gets you a photo with like other fans. So like they take, I think, like 5 fans and put them with the Backstreet Boys for the picture, because I already have my individual one. So I would just go for like the cheapest one, just so that I could meet them again and maybe like at least focus on like giving them the CD and talking to them a little bit. I might try it again. We'll see. Definitely, Denise, Melissa, and I are definitely seriously considering doing the after party next time. We wanted to do it this time, but it was $75 we didn't have, so we kind of were disappointed that we couldn't do it. But next time I think we're definitely doing the after party. But all 5 guys don't go to the after party. It's usually Nick, Howie, and Kevin. So I think I might consider doing like the cheapest meet and greet the next time. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Depends on how much money I have at the time and how I'm feeling health-wise beforehand. So, but yeah, it was an awesome experience, and I just couldn't wait to tell you guys about it. So I'm probably going to post this today, and then you'll have to wait a couple of days for the video from the actual event, because I'm going to try to splice it together. And I took a lot of videos, so I don't know if I'll put all of it. I might just do the highlights, just so that it doesn't drag on. And then I'll probably wait until I get my picture so that I can include the picture in the video. But yeah, what time is it now? I've rambled on for like ever. Oh my god, it's like 2:30, guys. 2:30. I didn't wake up till 11, and then I spent like 2 hours on the BSB message boards in the fan club area. So yeah, I think I am going to go now, and I think I'm going to watch Twisted, and then I'm going to get painting while this is uploading. So anyways, thank you guys for sticking with me through this very long video, but I just had to tell you guys about everything because it was so exciting, and also just so that I can document it myself, because I don't want to forget any of it. I already forget some of it because I literally almost forgot all of it the moment I left meeting them, because it was just like a haze, a daze, like it was just crazy, but crazy good. So yeah, I'm in heaven. Anyways, VIP, woohoo! See you guys in the next video.